Today I want to teach you guys a spell to sweeten a relationship or to sweeten a sour friendship. Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Amy. I'm a witch and we talk about witchcraft and spirituality and stuff here. I'm happy that you're here. Feel free to hit the subscribe button if you're so inclined, and also hit the bell for notifications and select all, because YouTube won't let you know that my videos are coming out unless you do that. So thanks for helping out my channel and for being here. So this spell is really simple. It's a jar spell. I love jar spells. They're so effective and they're so much fun, and who doesn't love just like little jars?
Or is that just me? I like little jars.
So for this spell, you are going to need these things: sugar to make the person sweet, syrup to make the spell stick, yeast to help the sweetness grow, a piece of paper to write the person's name on, and a jar to seal it all into. So now that you have your 5 items, bear in mind that you can use slightly different items than I do. You can modify this however you want, and if you want to attach a written spell or incantation to it, feel free. This one is very simple, and I tried to use things that most people would have in their home. But again, you can do any variation of this that you want to. So this spell is specifically to help with, say you've got a boss that doesn't necessarily like you, or your best friend's girlfriend or boyfriend doesn't really like you so much, or you're going through a rough patch with somebody that you're friends with or with a family member, and no matter how hard you try, you just seem to be having miscommunications. The person maybe is lashing out, or any other number of really uncomfortable situations. Sometimes our instinct in these situations is revenge, or to lash out, or to be defensive in response, but we attract what we put out there. So if someone is rude to you and then you're rude right back, like, what's going to stop them from continuing to be rude? I find that it's usually better to not take the high road, but if you approach every situation with love, then it's not your fault if somebody else doesn't, but chances are you're going to get sweetness back. So here's what we do. We are going to take syrup, the sugar, and the yeast, and we're going to put them into the jar. While you're doing this, I want you to think about what the ideal feeling would be. Not the relationship itself, but the ideal feeling that you would get from having a good relationship with this person. I want you to think about this person and the different ways that interactions could go in your favor. Whatever that looks like to you, if it's getting along with your mother-in-law and not being annoyed every time she speaks, or your boss deciding to give you that project that you want rather than putting you on the crappy ones, or putting down your work, or something like that. Just think about those scenarios in your mind and think about how it will feel, the sweetness and niceness of being in a good place with that person. Then I want you to write their name on the piece of paper, put it into the jar with all of the other ingredients. Then I want you to take a spoon or something and stir it all around. And while you're stirring, I want you to repeat to yourself, this relationship is sweet every time we meet. This relationship is sweet every time we meet. And I want you to continue saying that until you feel like you're done. Sort of like cooking intuitively. I want you to stir your spell until you feel like it's finished, and then put the lid on the jar, close it tightly, and say, so mote it be. Now once you've done that, put your jar away. You don't really want anyone to find it, with somebody's name on it. I guess it's not a hex, so it's not really harmful if somebody finds it. If you have a place where you keep things like this, then put it there. If it feels safer to you, put it in the freezer. Be careful putting glass in the freezer. I'm using a recycled candle jar, because it has a lid that will tighten very nicely, and it's left over, and I try to keep leftover jars and things specifically for my witchcraft. Put it in a cupboard, put it somewhere, make sure it's really sealed. If you need to glue the lid shut or put tape around it or something like that, because there's sugar in it, you really don't want any air or bugs or anything getting in there. And leave it for, 3 days or 5 days or 7 days or however long you think is a good amount of time. You don't really want it to spoil, and then get rid of it. Simple as that. Your spell will continue to work, it will continue to function long after the jar has left your home. So that was a really quick, really simple spell. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a variation off of something that I've been thinking about for a while. If I end up working on that spell, I will obviously let you know. I love crafting my own spells. Most of the time, I don't do a lot of extra research to find other people's spells and modify them, because I feel like witchcraft is so personal, and that's one of the reasons why I want you to modify this in whatever way you feel is appropriate. If you want to seal the jar with a candle, if you'd rather do a candle spell or a water spell instead of a jar spell, then that's totally up to you. The idea is just to sweeten the relationship and just basically with kindness, sweet things are better than sour things. So thank you so much for being here. If you want a quick introduction to Invocations, it's super useful, especially if you're an elemental witch or you're practicing elemental magic. I wrote a mini magical manual, a teeny tiny ebook, and I'll put up here somewhere. It's free to you if you click the link down below in my subscription box.
Wow.
It's free for you if you click the link down below in the description box. Otherwise, I think it's like $7.95 on my website, which is also fine. amymelaine.com. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, support me on Patreon if you want. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Let me know if you try this spell and what you think of it, how you modify it, if you want. And we'll talk again soon. Have a blessed and beautiful day, witches.